Just give me a second. Share my screen. Hi everyone, this is Vijay. I will be your instructor. Let me give a little bit about my background, what I do, how much experience I have, and what is my qualifications. So I am CCI certified in data center and security. I have also CCD in design export and CISSP and other a bunch of certifications I have. I have around this 10 years of experience. Since 2016, I am the corporate trainer and also the institute trainers. I'm currently working, so it's not like I am only doing the full time training. So I'm also working professional in the multinational organizations, working as a principal architect. So what exactly what we are going to discuss in the particular sessions and what will be our goal to achieve in the CCNP data center. So we are going to discuss in this particular session CCNP data center, including that where we are going to discuss curriculum of the CCNPs and what all the topics we are going to cover, what will be the depth of the topics, and how we are going to cover. Okay, so let me go with the introduction of each individual of you. So can we start from any of you, or I should name one by one you guys to introduction of yourself?
Hi, sir. My name is Yash Toma. I have over like 6 years of experience.
Hmm.
Primarily, I started off my journey with Cisco systems as a fresher back in
Mhm.
2016. And, I am CCNP in core as well as CCNP, this SD-WAN certified. So I've got
Mhm.
the certification recently. So yeah, that's about me.
Nice.
And looking forward to
Nice.
learn DC because I've just enrolled in a data center project to understand the Nexus and the ACI infra, which I'm
Mhm.
not much
Okay.
aware of.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, hi, my name is Abhishek. I'm working as a project manager in DHC. So my
Mhm.
primary aim to enroll into this certification program is to have more understanding on the data center architecture.
Yeah. Thanks, Abhishek. Anyone next?
Yeah, I'm Munirul from Australia, working more than 10 years in the network environment. I'm working Nexus at the moment, Nexus data center stuff, but I want to
Mhm.
learn more VXLAN and then ACI stuff. That's the reason I joined the training. Thank you.
Got it. Thanks, Manil. Next.
Hey, I'm Thiru, database architect. I just joined this enrolled the course because of I want to manage my company IT team for data center.
Got it, Thiru. Thanks. Next. Sumit.
Hi, my name is Sumit and I work in Binary Global and I joined this class to learn more about ACI technology.
Nice. Thanks. Next. Yakub. Eliod. There. Okay. So let me. I think he's speaking on mute. Something. Let's start the curriculum. So where actually I am based on in UK. So let me share that curriculum what we are going to discuss. So this is the new curriculum which has been designed by the networking. So you can directly find here in the networking website where you will able to see that all the curriculums and what all the topics we are going to discuss here. So let me open this. So if you'll go to the home or live training and you will go under the section of CCNP data center. Under the CCNP data centers, you will able to find out all the details of the CCNP data centers. So this is the CCNP core exam. So we are going to have like cost of this one $400. Then duration will be 120 minutes. So question answer will be like around 9 to 100. If you wish to attempt the CCNP exam, core exam. Okay, so if I just give me a second, this chat things. If you go under the syllabus, in the syllabus, we are going to cover in 3-4 different sections: networking, local traffic configuration, compute networking, then storage networking, then automation, then security. These are the major modules which we are going to cover in the CCNP data centers. Okay, you can even download this syllabus if you wish to. Otherwise, one by one also you can click on these particular sections. You will able to see that what all the topics we are going to discuss here. Okay, so let me maximize this page. So we are going to have different modules. In the network modules, what we are going to cover is, so let's me start with saying that CCNA is a prerequisite for the CCNP data center. So if you haven't done the CCNP, please complete the CCNA. So please complete the CCNA. It's not required like CCNA data center you have to attempt that, but definitely you should know in the CCNA or basics, routing, switching, or enterprise. At least you should have the basic knowledge of the networking to start with the CCNP data center, because this is the advanced level class. It's not the basic class which we are going to discuss. So these are the some terminology or topics. If you know those topics already, that will be the beneficiary to you to start with. So in the particularly network modules, module number 1, which we are going to start in a day one. Sorry. So we are going to start with these are some protocols like OSPF v4, OSPF with the v6, MPBGP we are going to discuss, PIM for multicast, FHRP. In the FHRP we are going to discuss VRRP and HSRP. Then in the next topics, we are going to have the spanning tree discussion with the BPC. So in the spanning tree, we are going to discuss the RSTP plus and MST plus LACP plus BPC. So these are the kind of most used protocols in the data centers, which we are going to discuss. And when I say that discuss, it doesn't mean we are going to discuss only theoretical part of the particular topics. We are going to discuss theoretical part as well as the lab or demonstration we are going to apply for each and every topics. So if you want to learn basics or advanced, that's well and good, because we are going to start the lab from basic to advanced with the different scenarios, right? For OSPF, we are going to discuss a different scenario. For MPBGP, where we can use MPBGP, what are the use cases of the MPBGP, along with the design perspective. We are going to discuss for each and every protocols, including the labs. Then we are going to discuss the VXLAN, because the reason is we cannot directly jump into the VXLAN in the VPN, because these underlay protocols you should be knowing before jumping into the VXLAN. That's why you should have the good understanding of the MPBGP underlay protocols, whether it's ISIS or OSPF or multicast. You should be knowing these protocols before jumping into the VXLAN. Okay, because VXLAN is an overlay technology. You cannot have
Just one question. Is ISIS knowledge really mandatory? Because I don't know that protocol.
It's not mandatory, but if you know that will add you the advantage on, because if you came here to learn the ACI, and ACI totally built on the underlay as a ISIS, right? So it's not like you have to configure that, but knowing the knowledge, or at least if you know the basics of the ISIS, that's going to be well and good. Because if you know the OSPF, ISIS pretty much 90% is same.
Okay.
Then we are going to talk about, then fourth topic is ACI. So ACI fabric we are going to talk about from scratch. So it's going to be like, what is the ACI? So basically you can see the day 0 to day advanced level ACI. It's not like particular one topics. We are going to discuss about day 0, like what is the ACI, how does it work, what is the use cases of that, how we can configure the ACI from day 0. Then to the advanced level, along with the troubleshooting and designs, we are going to talk about in the ACI topics. Okay, then we are going to talk about some of the packet analysis for the troubleshooting perspective. If you are looking for like day 2 operation or day 3 operation, something kind of, definitely these topics will be the most important for you guys. Then we are going to talk about a little bit of the cloud service deployment model. This is going to be in a multi-cloud environment, how you can integrate your on-premises environment for the monitoring and all the service module deployments. Those topics we are going to talk about that. Then in our module number 2, we are going to talk about the local traffic configuration. This is mainly focused on the troubleshooting part. So if you are, even if you are the architect or anything, you should be knowing that basic troubleshooting of the network, right? Along with the advanced level of the troubleshooting of the network. Because if you're working as a tech lead or something in a technical support environment, then you should be knowing that how we can troubleshoot, how we can upgrade, how we can configuration or implement the infrastructure, how we can monitor that infrastructure using the different infrastructure monitoring tools. And the fourth topic will be explaining that concept of the streaming telemetry. We are going to talk about here mainly in the multicast environment, along with the multiple examples of the industry examples. For example, how YouTube works, how Google works, how the basic multi streaming environment works for the production environment. Then in module number 3, we are going to talk about that hyperflex along with the storage area network. Okay, so these topics, compute and the storage, module 3, module 4, going to be the all together. So where we are going to talk about the UCS along with the hyperflex. So UCS is kind of going outdated. So hyperflex is the one of the hot topic we are going to discuss in the particular modules. In the hyperflex, we are going to talk about the initial setup, infrastructure management, or like VLAN pools, templates, policy creation, storage, SAN connectivity, or kind of WAN connectivity. What is the server management? How we can manage those servers along with the labs? We are going to talk about that. Okay. For the storage, definitely we do not have the physical lab for the storage, but definitely we are going to demonstrate few things, like for example, switch fabric initialization, port channeling, FCID. What is the FCID? What is the zoning? What is the NPV and PIV? Those all the topics we are going to discuss in a particular modules. Okay. In hyperflex, so all the detailed design along with the flat network, along with the ACI, how hyperflex work in a data center environment, along with the Cisco product as well as the non-Cisco products, how we can create the backups and restore it, how we can enable that span on inside on the hyperflex environment. We are going to discuss those part of the configuration of the theory and the lab. Then next topic is module number 5. We are going to have the automation. This is a very important topic for all the whatever we have learned so far, Nexus, ACI, Hyperflex, how we can achieve automation on those products. We are going to discuss scripting, where we are not going to discuss the like in-depth scripting, but we are going to talk about network level scripting. We are going to talk about a little bit of the Ansible, Python, XML, JSON, how we can modify the existing scripts, how we can configure VLAN, IP address, configure the routing protocols, configure the like upgrades, configure the some of the bunch of bulk configuration for your environment. So these kind of stuff we are going to talk about that. But if you want to learn in depth like Python or Ansible or any like Puppet tools or some PowerShell, then DevOps or NetOps will be the one of the definitely is a second option for the learning these skills. But yeah, we are going to talk about the basic to moderate level, not the advanced level of the scripting. But still, you will be able to implement the configuration changes through the script. That much things we are going to discuss in the particular sections. In the security sections, what we are going to cover is, this is the basic security, network security. Then we are going to talk about compute security. We are going to talk about the storage security. These are some security modules we are going to talk about that. Along with that, some additional topics, like for example, how the TAC server works, how Radius server works. Those things will be covered under these particular sections. Some of the like protocol securities will be also covered in the particular sections. Any questions, guys? Okay, so let me start with saying that what all the hardware we are going to cover here is. Let me open this.
I've got a question. How looks like the lab be? Can you show the lab, please?
Your voice is breaking. I'm unable to hear you properly.
So did you set up the lab for the CCNP data?
Yeah, definitely. So we have the set of lab for the CCNP data centers where you can access the Nexus, ACI. Those are the some labs which you can access 24/7.
Okay. Yeah, can you show us?
Sorry.
Hey, this is Lalit. I have one question. Can I ask related to lab?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as per my understanding, this course will be around 5 to 6 months duration. Now, after 5 to 6 month duration, if we want to access the lab, so will Network Kings provide the lab, or how we can do the practice after our this training?
Gaurav, you there? Yeah, I believe you can, but I want Gaurav to confirm that with your team. What's the package you guys have for this particular seasons? But I believe that as far as I know that you guys should be
कल
able
जी
to
वो
access.
तो डाटा सेंटर वाला दे दिया आपने डाटा सेंटर
Okay, I will ask Vijay offline this question. It is taking time. Now, second
Definitely,
question
yeah.
comes. Second question, in case suppose there is a limitation of lab or there is some commercial involved and everybody wants to create their own lab. So let's take I have a 16 GB laptop. So will you able to help me in that also? Because after
So,
if we are not able to touch base with this course, then there is no use. So
definitely.
my specific question is, whatever iOS images you have, will you able to share with us and help us to set up that lab, maybe 1 or 2 sessions?
So with the definitely 1 to 2 lab, definitely I can help personally. But the problem is 16 GB laptop won't be sufficient to set up the data center lab. Okay, you should have minimum 32 GB or 64 GB in order to set up the data center lab, because data center simulators are very heavy simulators, right? If you suppose, for example, if you want to install a Nexus would take around 8 GB per instance, right?
Got it. Understood. So this is also clear. So what kind of iOS you will use here in our data center? As per my understanding, this would be Nexus 7K, sorry, Nexus 9K, 7K, and 2K. These are the three appliances, virtual appliances we will use. Apart from that, what other we will use?
We are going to use a Cisco ACI. Then we are going to talk about that FXOS, which is around, which is again is a Hyperflex. It's again an XOX version of the server.
Yeah.
So let me.
Can I get the old iOS in the Google Drive or something sharing?
When you say the old driver, old OS, what do you need that?
Actually, the message is if we want to create our own lab and whatever you have in iOS, I can understand we require the 32 GB. Somehow we arrange a 32 GB laptop. So will we get that assistance? Whatever you have in iOS, you can share with us. Otherwise, what will happen? We will have to struggle with net, have to download. That is a time consuming factor.
Not an issue. I will, yeah, definitely. I will try to help you guys as much as I can. Okay, don't worry about that.
Perfect. The message is after this course, how can we manage our practice? Because definitely, if we are touch base and daily eating this kind of technology, there is no issue. But generally, we are doing this course to upgrade ourselves, and very lucky people who get same environment. Like I'm not using any data center technology, but I have a passion to learn this thing and how to sustain that passion, but obviously practice. So this is the only message to help us that kind of.
No worry about that, Lalit. Okay, I will try to help you all as much as I can, as I said. So regarding the getting the all the images and the simulator, definitely I do have that. I can share those things to you guys. Okay, even I can make some sort of notes or video if you want, or I can take one small session to to provide that live session, like how we can set up the labs, even if you have the or in for future you can record it, or to set up the labs in a emulator or EBNG or GNS or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So one question, like how much time will you take to cover up the entire course? Like by the end of this year, or like ideally how much time it's gonna
So
take?
ideally it takes around 5 to 6 months, as this is a weekend. But I usually take that per day basis. If I calculate that, average session will be 2 to 4 hours. Okay. Minimum will be two
Per
hours
weekend. Yeah.
per,
Okay.
per day, per
Per
weekend,
day?
like per day in a weekend. So overall around 4 to 4 to 8 hours per week.
Oh, I was told that each session is going to be for 2 hours only.
Yeah,
Like
so as I
every.
said, 2 to 4 hours. It depends on the topics. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we have
So
that flexibility, right? Okay.
exactly, it's like if something is very important, or if something is breaking the rhythm of the training, we can extend that few hours, right? If something is
Okay.
topic is small, then we can cover in 2 hours. Definitely we can complete that in 2 hours, right?
G. Would you also be creating a folder or something in which you can send some like study materials for us?
Yeah, so I will be creating that one folder in a Google Drive or Omega to share some
Sure.
slides. But along with that, recording and all, you can get from the networking.
Yeah, recording is fine. I'm talking about the materials, like something to
Definitely.
study with.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do that. I will create that. I usually create for each training sessions for different folders. You can access even after the classes also for few months.
ठीक है sir. Okay.
Okay.
Which I apologize. I missed first 5 minutes session. So, what you are into same technology? If I get brief introduction, what kind of technology you are using, then it will help me.
Okay, for my background, about my background.
Background and currently what technology you
Okay.
are working on, which technologies nowadays?
Okay, so I am currently working as the principal architect. Where I work in the UK, and I work for the ACI. I work for the Nexus. I work for the security. So a lot of things are there. And I work also for the Kubernetes technology. These are the current technology which I'm working on. Definitely, there are a bunch of security stuff like firewall and other things are there, but these are my active day-to-day kind of interaction with these are some modules which I work on.
So, sir, if you do well in DC, then pull us to UK.
Definitely. One more thing here is, so we do. I personally do help for the getting the interviews. If you are looking for change something, especially for the ACI, okay, ACI, and this is not the like promise, but yeah, definitely I do. We do have a lot of partners associated with the networking who have a lot of openings. We definitely send your resumes to them, and based on your skill set, if any needed for like interview preparation and all, definitely we take that interview preparation call classes as well as 1 or 2 sessions.
ठीक है sir.
Okay, so if you like to change something or after class or something, we do have a lot of partners who have a lot of opportunities. They look for the experts from the institutes, and we definitely send those CVs or the interested candidate to those companies within UK, within India, we have like a bunch of different locations for this kind of opportunities.
Which state are you from, sir?
I mean from Bhopal.
Acha, okay.
Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Okay. So what all the hardware? Yeah.
Sorry, Zach, apologies.
Yeah.
Are we going to cover entire ACI depth or just for the concept and only?
Yeah. So I'm going to discuss that. What all the topics we are going to cover. Okay.
No, the ACI I'm just talking.
Yeah, ACI. So as I said, day zero, like what ACI to advanced level. In advanced level, we are going to talk about that ACI initial configuration, ACI build, and ACI physical, ACI logical, ACI design, ACI troubleshooting. These all the topics will be covered under that. Okay, and within the initial configuration, within the ACI build, within the physical architecture, within the ACI logical, within the ACI design, lot of topics will be covered underneath that.
Do you set up the lab for ACI as well separately?
Yeah. So usually we do not have the physical lab of ACI. Okay, we use simulator because ACI is too much expensive for to purchase that. We use the simulator. However, if you have this is the one of the lab. Let me go to the lab. Lab we have in the networking. We have simulator. Okay. Then we have Cisco DevNet. Cloud we call that. Cisco D Cloud has simulator also that will give you a lot of advanced feature testing where you can do that. Okay.
Is that similar to Epic?
Yeah, it could be with a simulator.
If I have a like Dell server, 128 140 gig RAM, so can I set up the lab in my home environment?
Yeah, definitely you can do that.
Thanks.
128 GB is more than enough to set up the lab.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Even you can have the like multiple ACI simulator as well in that.
So you said in this class we are discussing what is ACI and advanced traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like from basic to advanced level. After this particular ACI session, you will be able to configure, troubleshooting, design the ACI. That's what I can say that.
Can I say this ACI is equivalent to NSXT VMware, or there is a difference?
Yeah, so definitely I worked on the NSX products. I'm also VMware certified. So I have NSX. I worked in NSXV as well as an NSXT. Okay, but I would not compare that virtual environment NSXV or T to the ACI. ACI has different advantage because of the hardware. Okay, and NSXT definitely is good for the small and medium businesses where you can have that NSXV environment or NSXT environment. But along with that, if you want to have the good performance, resiliency, a better high availability, or customer want to have the, like thousands of server, NSXT is not that scalable in compared to the ACI. That's the advantage between them. You're gonna get from the ACI. But yeah, NSX is also good product where you can have like in virtual environment, especially NSX 3. I would not say we should be comparing with the ACI. NSX has its own advantage in a virtual environments. Like if you compare to the other vendors, like for example, electronics or any other vendors along in a VMware infrastructure, definitely NSX will add the advantage in a virtual environment in compared to the those particular products.
So I got a question. How it works? Cisco between the different Cisco ACI and NSXT. Oh,
So you're asking what is the difference between an NSXT and an ACI environment, right?
yeah.
So ACI is a physical.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a spine and leaf.
And it works with a two-tier architecture.
Yeah.
I would say the leaf and spine architecture.
Yeah.
Spine architecture. The NSX is your pure virtual environment. You can have NSX anywhere in the infrastructure in any servers. Even in a single server, you can have this NSX environment. Virtual. You can definitely integrate NSX with the ACI as well. There is a solution. A lot of customers do that. Okay.
All right.
As I said, NSX has its own advantage in a virtual environment. ACI has its own advantages. We should not be comparing these products because they are totally different, right? If NSX definitely is a physical appliance or something like that, definitely we can compare NSX with the ACI. Okay, but performance wise and scalability wise and other things wise, ACI is always going to be superior until unless NSX has any dedicated hardware.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Thanks.
NSX runs in physical servers, right?
Yeah, on top of the physical servers, but those physical servers, and you're running the NSX on top of the some other appliances, right? They do not have dedicated kind of hardware where it comes with the NSX products. You run on top of the hypervisors, right?
Okay.
And the advantage of NSX, you can say that like if you have the small infrastructure, and you want to have the software defined network in your infrastructure without purchasing the ACI, right? For example, you have like 1000 users, something like that in the environment. Definitely you can go with the NSX product. But if you have more than like 1000 or 2000 or 5000, where you need physical servers to be deployed, right? So NSX is your kind of enterprise and campus solution as well, whereas data ACI is pure data center solutions where you need physical hardware to be onboarded. Okay. In the NSX, suppose you want to dedicate 3-4 servers, right? A dedicated server for the like for example, you want to have the petabyte of database. In this case, NSX won't be the solution of scalable solution for the petabyte of the database, right? You can have like some sort of VMs spinning off on the NSX, but if you want to manage petabyte of data in the data center, you need to have some physical network devices to handle those kind of capacity or database in the infrastructure.
Right, right.
Okay. So in the hardware, what we are going to cover here is, in the hardware perspective, we are going to talk about the Nexus. In the Nexus, we are going to talk about the N7K, which is end of life, but still knowing the Nexus 7K will be always. Yeah, anyone questions? Yeah, Krishna, you want to ask anything? No, okay. So in the Nexus, what all the we are going to cover here is, so in Nexus products, we are going to talk about the hardware level. When I say the hardware level, we are going to talk about the hardware specification, hardware functionality, features, what are the use cases of those particular hardware, and what will be the design where we can use this hardware in the infrastructure, and how we are going to replace this hardware into the new hardwares. Okay, those are all the topics we are going to cover, because a lot of the existing infrastructure, they do have like Nexus 7K, 5K, where they are going to replace with the Nexus 9K devices also. So those topics will be covered. So I have recorded even the live migration from Nexus 5K to Nexus 9K and the UCS to the other UCS version. Those things will be covered based on my experience, which I have from the customers. Okay. Then we are going to talk about the Nexus 5K, though it's not important, but you should be knowing that, because a lot of the infrastructures are in the transition phase, where a lot of the customers, they do have the Nexus 5K or 7K. They did not want to replace even in 4 year, 5 year upcoming, right? This also product is end of life, end of support. Then we are going to talk about Nexus 2K fabric extension. Next, we are going to talk about the Nexus 9K. So we are going to.
You say the 7K and 5K end of life. What would be the replacement? Is 9K or?
Yeah. So Nexus 7K, 5K replacement, the Nexus 9K. That's the one replacement we have.
Okay. Thanks.
So in future,
sorry.
we'll be having only.
Yeah, for now, down the line, I see that Nexus 9K is the only replacement, but you never know. Cisco come up with some other product also, right? But for now, Nexus 9K is the one who is the replacement of Nexus 7K, 5K, even for the 2K also, because a lot of the customers are using Nexus 9K as a layer 2 devices. Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, how do you,
Yeah, Krishna, your
thank you
voice
very
is
much.
breaking. I'm unable to hear you properly.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah, so my question is, lot of data centers running on VXLAN with Nexus 7K as spine. Okay.
Yeah.
In this case, end of life, then how they going to replace the 7K?
Okay, so Nexus 7K has replacement of Nexus 3K or Nexus 9500. That's a two replacement of the Nexus 7K, higher end version.
When is the end of life? Next year or something?
So end of life, you can check based on the modules, based on the model number, because there is Nexus has two modules, right? It's like around, I would say that one Nexus and 7K, which is already end of life. There is an and 77K. And 77K is also is in a progress of getting end of life.
7710.
Yeah, 77106, 7704, 7709. These are the some products. So if I go here, so let me say that Nexus. Go here.
We are discussing about modules also, right?
Yes,
Modules used in this
definitely.
chassis.
So if you go modules and modular switches, Nexus 7K, where I can get Nexus 7K. Nexus 7K. Just give me a second. Nexus 7K family.
This is only weekend class, right? I'm sorry for asking.
Yeah, this is weekend class only.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
How many classes?
It's going to be around 4 to so going to 2 classes per week. Per week, I would say Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. So total for the course.
It's going to be around 5 to 6 months around. But for the ACI and Nexus, it's going to be covered within 2 to 3 months max. The rest of the like 1 to 1.5 months will be like automation, security. Those are the parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many modules it has? Sorry. Go ahead first.
I was going to explain that. No worries. Just so I was in the Nexus 7K. Okay, in the Nexus 7K, if you see here, these are the two products. Nexus 7K has like Nexus 7004, 9, 10, and 18. Okay, then these all the devices are end of life, end of support now. Okay, these are the Nexus 7700. So there is Nexus 7702, 2 slots, 6 slot, 10 slot, 18 slots, which was replacement of the Nexus 7 to 7700. Now this 7700 is also end of going to be, I believe, end of life, end of support. We have to check that each modules. If you see here, look here. It was last updated in 2021. So if I go here, I would say the Nexus 7K in of life announcement. If you go here, so these are the some Nexus 7700. Okay, Nexus 7700 has been announcement for end of life support for in 2022 October. It's going to be end of sale 2023, and for the end of support for software and all the things will be till 2028. But no one wait for that. Cisco does not recommend to keep that device after end of life for like max to max 2 to 3 years, not more than that. Okay, the replacement of the Nexus 7700, if you see here, this is the replacement products we have. Okay, but 9300 is also good replacement because 9500 is a modular chassis and going to be expensive. And if suppose if you do not have that kind of budget, 9300 is also good replacement of these products. Okay, for each and every version we have same thing.
Vijay, we are also using Catalyst 9300 and 9500. I can see here that Nexus also has a 9300 and 9500. What is the
Yes.
difference in between Catalyst and Nexus here?
So Catalyst is pure different. It has different syntax. It has different protocol supports. Okay, Nexus is totally different for the specific. So Catalyst product is for the campus network. This is simple. Okay, for the Nexus product is only for the data centers. Whereas a specific protocol support the Nexus, a specific protocols run on the Catalyst devices. The major part, like for example, BPC is one of the feature for the key feature for the Nexus only support the Cisco AC 2 OS mode, Nexus flat mode, and the ACI mode. So Nexus 9K has two different categories. Nexus 9K can be used as a Nexus product, can be used as ACI product, SDN product, whereas Catalyst product has also two features. Catalyst can be used as a simple Catalyst, or it can be also used as a SDN product. When I say the SDN, it can be the SD access. Okay. If I go here and define that difference between the Catalyst and Nexus, so let me give you that two differences. Catalyst, for example, N9K. Nexus 9K. So it has two mode. iOS mode. iOS can be used as a for campus network, and the enterprise network. When you have the multiple buildings or infrastructures where you want to install this, can be used this as an enterprise solution. Then we have SD access, software defined network. This particular software defined solution can use your Catalyst devices. Okay. Whereas in Nexus we have two mode, NX OX mode, and use as a your legacy infra in data center. Okay. Then we have ACI mode, SDN we call it. Okay, so it has different use cases along with the protocols, different along with the SDN, different SDN solution as well. If you heard about the HDXS, is pure on the Catalyst based as well as the ASR and ISR based. If you heard about the Cisco ACI, is pure about the Nexus devices. Is that clear?
It is very much clear. I have one basic question. Suppose I am using data center and I am not going with Nexus 9K, I'm going with Catalyst 9K. What would be the direct impact if I have a data center which is approximately 10 racks, approximately 300 to 400 VMs? If I'm using the Catalyst 9500, not going with Nexus, okay. As an end user or as a data center engineer, what I will get the difference?
Okay, so suppose you are creating the new greenfield data center, right? Or you already have a data center. What's the scenario you have?
I have a both cases. I have already data center, or in future I will create a data center. These
Okay.
both scenarios fit in my case.
Okay, definitely. So next, if you are using the Catalyst devices in the data center environment, definitely you can use that. But the problem is Catalyst devices are not that capable then compared to the Nexus devices. Catalyst devices has no, I would say that in compared to the Nexus along with the Catalyst is less capable than the Nexus products. Okay, along with some best feature like overlay technology, some of the high availability, like for example, if you want to create the HA in the Nexus devices, you have the active HA features. If you want to create the HA in the Catalyst devices, you do not have HA in an active manner. Okay, that's one of the feature, and data center require the HA feature. That's a major advantage you are getting from the Nexus devices. Second advantage you're gonna get from the Nexus, you have the SDN based access where you can control all the devices from the single interface. Same advantage now Cisco is adding with the Catalyst devices as well. So I would not say ACI is advantage over the Catalyst SD access, but Cisco has set of solutions which only define for the Wi-Fi wireless network, which is very much suitable with the Catalyst devices. If you do not have Wi-Fi wireless network in the infrastructure or in the data center, Cisco suggests that use the Nexus 9K along with the ACI. But third use case is if you want to use only iOS mode, flat network, right? You do not want to use SDXS or ACI. Definitely both you can use. There is no, I would not say there is no any issue using any of these devices in the data centers. It's up to the customer budgets.
Perfect. Actually, if I talk about the Nexus 9K, which is providing the HA, in case of Cat 9K, we can achieve the active HA with SVL. Now, this came in our scenario when we were unable to get the chain supply management and we did not opt the 9K and we went for this Catalyst 9K. So yes, active is there. Yeah, I can understand with this conversation last couple of minutes, overlay technology and underlay technology which comes in 9K. This I am getting the understanding majorly.
So this particular feature, which was missing in a Catalyst 6500, 4500, okay, active, was introduced in Nexus particular products, Catalyst product, Catalyst 9K product, which is also you are right. You can get active here now.
Correct, because we are using that. We did not get the chain supply management of Nexus, then we used forcefully Catalyst. So I just wanted to understand what is the major difference apart from overlay or underlay technology? Because feature-wise, SD-WAN.
So after introducing there was Nexus Catalyst 6K and 5K, right? Or 4K Catalyst 4K.
4500 and 6500.
Yeah, there was major differences between the Catalyst and the Nexus devices. Now, since the Cisco introduces Catalyst 9K, they are almost matching, to be honest. In terms of performance-wise, in terms of business capacity or the product capacity, yeah, definitely features will be different. Like here, if you want to run the BPC, you cannot run BPC in the Catalyst. Okay, definitely there is an alternative protocol to run that as well, right? Then second feature is OTB, overlay technology. You cannot run OTB here. You can run VPN here. You cannot run VPN here. These are some major features, but in the Catalyst devices, there is a 9200, there is 9500. Okay. I haven't checked the 9500, but I believe that 9500 is going to have the almost same feature. I would say the 80% feature what these Nexus devices does support. Nexus has its own native protocols, which cannot support in other products of the Cisco. Okay, VXLAN in terms of, for example, VXLAN, if you want to check that, VXLAN, both the devices can support VXLAN. It's not an issue.
Understood. Thank you. I got my answer.
Yeah. And if you have the Catalyst infrastructure, for example, 4500, 6500, and now you want to move to the Nexus, or if you have the Nexus infrastructure, you want to move to the Catalyst, you can move those infrastructure, but you need to migrate the configuration syntax. For example, here is a config T, right? And you can run any command, different syntax on the Nexus devices. Same syntax won't be applicable in the Catalyst. So if in case you are planning to migrate or something, you have to convert the configuration syntax, configuration commands, all the configuration need to be converted into the particular product specific syntax. That's the reason if you have the Nexus environment, Cisco suggests that to move into the Nexus only. Suppose, for example, Nexus 5K or Nexus 7K is there. Cisco suggests that move to the Nexus 9K, okay? Rather than saying that move to the Catalyst 9K devices.
Hey, hi Vijay, Lloyd this side. I just wanted to ask. Yeah, wanted to know, like you said, these switches will work in active mode. So wanted to know, won't it clear means put up a loop in the system?
Definitely not. There is a super protection is already the COPPP.
Where?
In the Nexus, we have the two supervisor engine which work as an active standby. Here also, if you are using the modular, it works as an active and standby. So the control plane perspective, you are going to have a single one control plane. So there won't be any issue for the any loop for the control plane perspective. But definitely
active.
Active is a hardware, not the per device. Okay. Suppose if you have two devices, you want to configure a HA in between that, right? There is definitely mechanism in BPC. There is a loop protection mechanism, and some of the features you have to enable to protect the loop in within the particular scenario which we are going to have, which we are going to discuss, like how we can protect the loop in an access. If you want to discuss loop protection in the catalyst, I can also create one separate take one separate class to discuss that.
Okay.
Okay, loop protection is all about the protocol controlling, right? If you have the protocol which can control your infrastructure design, protocol only can avoid the loop in the infrastructure, not the your hardware. Okay, hardware is loop free by default. If your design is wrong, then loop can be occur. But if your design is properly along with the proper protocols where it meant to be, then you can create the loop free topology in the infrastructure.
As per my understanding, the application decide on to which leaf the traffic has to be set. The leaf is connected onto the compute, and the compute is having two NIC card which is connected on a BON interface, which is a logical. That BON interface decide what and where to send the traffic on which leaf. So in this way,
okay, so there is a, if you are talking about this scenario, right? This scenario, you have two leaves, leaf one for example, and you have leaf two. Though who the people who don't know the leaf is again is a access plus distribution switch. We call that leaf. Okay, access plus distribution switch. It has a layer 2, layer 3 functionality both. We call that leaf. Okay, suppose this is a server. Now you are saying that if any server, suppose this is the port channel, right? And server is sending some time traffic to this way or this way, right? Active.
yes, sir. These
Okay.
two leaves are connected on different interfaces, different NIC card.
Definitely. That's fine. That's fine. You need to, first of all, there is two things. You need to have the teaming in order to get that active things. Okay, whether it's the same or different NIC. If it is different NIC or same NIC, that's your server capability, whether you can have the teaming between the two NICs or not. If the server has capability to do the teaming, then we suggest that use the BPC here. Okay, in the between the leaf switches to support the active. Server can send your traffic to here, server can traffic send to here. Okay, BPC always treat this server as a single identity, or this server treat this AP leaf switches as a single identity. Okay, but if you do not have the BPC and you still want to have the active, that's something I would say that do not enable the teaming. If you are doing the teaming with the two leaves, use the active and standby. Do not use active.
From server side also.
Yep. That's a different scenario. Definitely, I will be discussing a lot of scenario in the ACI design sections. Okay, no worry about that anything at all. If you want to even get the some use cases in a real production environment, I have done more than 10 to 15 designs for the customer. I can open any design and discuss. Like for example, if you want to discuss VXLAN design, I'm open to discuss 4 hours, 5 hours for that. Okay, so no need to worry about that. Let's come to the topics. Okay, any other question before I move to the topics?
It's okay from my side.
Okay, cool. So this is the Nexus product which we are going to talk about, that how the upgrade going to work, how the what will be the hardware specification for each. Like in Nexus devices, we are going to have 3-4 Nexus components, like Nexus 3K, Nexus 9300, Nexus 9500, Nexus 9800. What are the differences we are going to get in between that? Same thing we are going to talk about Nexus 5K. Same thing we are going to talk about Nexus 2K. This is the module number 1. Module number 2 is your compute. In the compute, we are going to talk about that C-series server, server C series, okay, server B series. When I say the C series, B series, it also covered the UCS and Hyperflex. Okay? It covered both in that. Then we are going to talk about the ACI. In the ACI, same again. We are going. This is the NX OS mode. Okay, NX OS mode. This is the ACI mode. SDN, I would say that SDN. In the SDN, we are going to talk about pure Nexus 9K, okay, along with the SDN part. Okay. Then we are going to talk about that tools. In the tools, we are going to talk about the Python. We are going to talk about Ansible. We are going to talk about that Postman client. We are going to talk about some other DevOps tools. Okay, these are the modules which we are going to discuss, and these are the major modules which we have in the data center networking. Okay.
We don't have a VXLAN topic.
VXLAN is going to be, this is the hardware I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
In the VXLAN topic, we are going VXLAN. You can run on the Nexus mode. You can run on the ACI mode. You can run on the compute also. Okay. VXLAN is just a protocol. Okay.
So we have the topic, right?
Definitely, yeah. VXLAN is, without VXLAN, how are you gonna survive in a data center, right? Like this one. So we are going to talk about the VXLAN with the control plane, VXLAN with the data plane. Okay, in the data plane, we are going to talk about how VXLAN work in a flood and learn mode, how VXLAN work in the unicast mode. Okay, VXLAN has two different types of mode: unicast and broadcast mode. I would say multicast mode, not broadcast. Okay. If we talk about the in a Nexus family, the major target will be our Nexus and ACI. Okay. If you understand the Nexus properly, you will able to understand the Nexus ACI. If you do not have the proper understanding of the Nexus, it will take time for you to understand the ACI. Because hardware, we are going to use the same Nexus. Then we are going to use the hardware. We are going to use the same hardware. On top of that, we are going to install different iOS on that, which is called the ACI. Okay. So let's understand why data center. Why data center is needed. What is the data center? What is data center? So data center is the simplest data center. It's kind of, let me give it that. Suppose you want to have what is the data center? Data center is a physical facility that is a physical facility that organizations use to onboard their critical application and data. The data center is a physical facility where your organization used to onboard or house their data critical applications and database in the one particular physical facility. That's we call the data center. Data center is nothing just to one place where you keep that all the critical applications.
130
Where you keep that your critical applications. For example, you have the one office, right? This is the office. Or for example, this is the Google data center. For example, Google DC. In a Google DC, is it possible for Google to deploy their all search engine in each and every states? It's impossible, right? What they do here is they create the one data centers where they have all the Google search engine. They have, for example, Google Photo. They have Google Play. They have GCP, right? Google Cloud. They have one data center. They have onboarded all these services. Now, these services need to be connected some sort of in the some network devices, right? So they have connected these devices, for example, like this. This is just a random thing, okay? This we call that data center devices. Now, the specification of the data center devices is it should be scalable. That's a one thing. It should have the scalability, it should have the agile, it should have the HA, it should be the much more flexible in terms of using the protocol. It should be much more convenient and simplest to use that. That's a data center devices are. These devices can be your, usually earlier it was Nexus devices. Nexus devices. Now they are converting these Nexus devices, for example, to the ACI. So they're saying that instead of why the ACI needed, because if you have the like 100 plus devices, is it kind of easy to manage 100 devices manually? It's going to be the nightmare for any operation team to manage 100 plus devices, especially in the scenario of if you have critical applications. But if you have a centralized interface where one engineer can monitor entire 100 devices in a single go, that's why we call that ACI. That's called the SDN solution. Centralized interface we are providing for the same devices, okay, with the same protocols. Now, these devices, if any user, this is the internet, for example, internet never direct, we suggest that never land your internet directly on the data center devices. That's where we have come the security. So data center is not something you can install all the devices without any security, without any other